Three migrant rapists jump unarmed woman in park, didn't see her secret weapon. An unarmed woman was walking through a park yesterday when three perverted migrants spotted what they believed was an easy target for their depraved desires. The trio had the woman pinned down and was about to gang rape her when they quickly realized why she was there and were sent running for their lives. The more migrants we import into the West, the more the left has to come up with excuses for the barbaric culture they bring with them. While not all refugees and immigrants are a criminal and financial burden on their community, it's impossible to tell which asylum seekers are going to assimilate and which are going to perpetuate the same misogyny and brutality commonplace in their home country. Perhaps one of the countries most devastated by the refugee crisis, Germany suffers mass sexual assault at the hands of those they've embraced. After more than 1,000 women were sexually assaulted in Cologne on New Year's Eve, which officials have finally admitted were committed by refugees, Germany has become too dangerous for many women to even take their routine walk in the park. German newspaper Hintergrundvergewaltigung reports that locals are hailing the most unlikely of heroes after a 38-year-old woman was saved from gang rape. While walking through a park in Laffelden early Sunday morning, three men ambushed the unarmed woman, thinking she was completely helpless. Fortunately, they were wrong. The trio had somehow overlooked the pair of dogs the woman was walking, a German Shepherd and a Labrador Retriever, which are apparently very dedicated to their loving owner. The men hadn't seen her with the dogs since she had let them off their leashes to run around. It was then, however, that her furry friends heard her screams and immediately came running. Before the migrants could tear off the woman's clothing, the pets lunged at the rapists, repaying the attack on their owner with a gruesome attack of their own. At least one of the men was injured by the dogs, which was enough to prompt his friends to flee for their lives. The woman described the bite as being so impactful that the man would most definitely require medical treatment. The woman managed to escape with minor injuries and her dogs were left unharmed. She made her way home and confided in a neighbor, probably fearful that reporting the assault would brand her a racist. Fortunately, the neighbor convinced her to call the police and an ambulance brought her to the hospital for an evaluation. The woman describes the men as migrants with light brown skin, all around 5 foot 4 inches tall. They reportedly wore dark hoodies and were speaking in a foreign language she could not identify. If apprehended, the suspects face charges of attempted rape, sexual assault, and grievous bodily harm for cuts to the woman's hand, arm, and face. It's disheartening that these types of assaults are on the rise in the West because of the growing migrant population, but it's even more appalling that these victims are afraid of reporting crimes to the authorities as long as the offenders are migrants. Of course, that's to be expected when German Chancellor Angela Merkel and Minister of Justice Heiko Maas have vowed to arrest and charge citizens who criticize migrants with hate speech. German police have also been caught concealing crimes committed by migrants, citing that if citizens knew the majority of offenders are migrants, awkward questions might come. This order came from Merkel herself, who told federal officers to minimize their charges and even allow them to go free. Even more disturbing is a leaked memo by Cologne police that details how law enforcement removed the word rape from countless reports in the wake of the New Year's Eve attacks. The move is a blatant attempt to preserve what's left of the reputation of liberals and their beloved refugee offenders.